Hello and welcome to Red Hawk Spotlight. My name is Jack Bartek. Over the past 4 decades here at Montclair State University, many things have changed. However, one man has been here through it all. Our guest today is head football coach Rick Giancola. Giancola was a standout college football player before joining the Montclair State coaching staff as an assistant in 1975. In 1983, he took over as head coach and never looked back. He is now the school's winningest head coach in its history. Coach Giancola, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
This is your 37th year as a head coach here at Montclair State University. Take us back to 1983. How is the program different? How is the campus different? And how have things changed since then?
The campus has changed greatly. The upper side of the campus has been developed pretty much to the maximum right now. And when I first came here, everything past College Hall and the library didn't exist. It was simply a big mountain. And little by little, the college decided that we needed a building or we needed some type of service to help our campus. And little by little, they started to build off of that mountain. Take a piece off, build something on it. Take another piece off, build something on it. And that's been a major change here.
What keeps you coaching? And have you ever felt tired of it throughout the years?
Kids keep me coaching. If you ever watch our practice and get in close to hear what they say and talk about, they're having fun and I'm having fun with them. They get me angry a little bit sometimes. I can say that, but our interaction is what I like, and I like coaching. I like to be around the kids and I like to do this job.
You currently sit near the top of the list of the active winningest coaches in all of college football. That list includes names such as Nick Saban, Mack Brown, Brian Kelly. So how does it feel to be a part of such elite company, and what has allowed you to get to that?
Jack, honestly, that doesn't faze me. I'm not in it for that reason. I'm in it to win next game. That's what phases me. Every time we play our next game, that's the most important game. And if I can sort of quote Derek Jeter, when he hit his 3,000th hit, happened to be a home run, they all asked him these questions about his career, and he said, I don't worry about that. I'll let you guys worry about that. He said, I'm worried about what I'm going to do for the next game. And that's how I feel. What are we going to do to win the next game? All that other stuff will take place at some point when I'm finished, and somebody will say, well, look at that. That's the time for that, not now.
Well, you've been very successful here at Montclair State, and I'm sure with all that success throughout the years, I'm sure there have been teams that have come calling. Have you ever considered leaving Montclair State for another job?
In the early years, yes. I heard of jobs that were open and looked into them, and then I said, why am I doing this? I'm happy coaching here. I live 5 minutes away. My family and children go to a local school. They're happy. I didn't see the need because I'm still coaching. The big time stuff, it would be nice if it ever happened. It's far beyond that now. That won't ever happen. And I'm happy here.
Obviously, this program means a lot to you for you to stay here throughout all these years. What does it mean to your family?
Everything my family has comes from here. I mean, I get paid to coach, which is a different approach in the early years. Most of the coaches that were here were faculty members. And they did their job, they did their teaching, and came to the field to coach. That's different now. Everyone has full-time coaches. The faculty is separate from the coaching staff. And that's a major difference. And when I came here, the head coach at the time was Coach Fred Hill. He was the first full-time coach for football that they had full-time. He wasn't a faculty member. And when I came in, I was a full-time coach, not a faculty member. And we did our coaching as our job. And I think it's a job that we as coaches, I do anyway, love. And I'm happy with it. But that's a major change over the years.
These games every weekend, they can get intense. So how do you prepare for the game going into it? And then after the game, how do you relax and come down off that edge of coaching?
When you win, there's no relaxing. Because right away your mind is going on the next game. When I talk to the team after the game, we talk about the success we had, what we did well, And then our minds are right back on Monday when we get back to look at the films of our next opponent. On Sunday and Saturday evening, the coaching staff, we don't go home. We stay right after the game. We break the film down as to what we just did. We grade every player on every play. They get a score. When they come back on Monday, they know how they did. And we must take the opponent's last game, break that down on Sunday, put a scouting report together, put a practice plan together, and then we're back Monday going to work.
During your college days, I mentioned you were a standout all-league tight end at Glassboro State University, now, of course, Rowan University. So how did your playing days impact how you coach now?
I had two distinctly different coaches. My high school coach was drastically different than my college coach. My high school coach was a loud, boisterous, sometimes physical, which obviously you can't do that anymore in this day and age. And my college coach, who was teammates with my high school coach at Rutgers, was very quiet, very soft-spoken, big guy, 6'5", 250 pounds. And I had mixed emotions because I came from a different coaching type, and I said to myself, gosh, does he really want to win? But certainly he did. But his approach was different. And that's what I try to tell these guys when they want to go into coaching. Be you. Be yourself. Incorporate all the things that you need to be a better coach. Learn, study, look at film. Treat the kids with respect. Treat the kids with respect. Doesn't mean you can't holler at them, because most coaches will do that at times, but they have to know that you still love them. And I tell them periodically, hey guys, and especially on a loss day, I still love you. It's hard to say because the emotions are still boiling, but they need to hear that because they've got to come back and play again. And hopefully that works for them. I think it does, but certainly works for me because when I get that energy to say that to them, I feel good. And I'm ready to go back to work on Monday.
So when you play Rowan now as a coach, is there a little something extra behind it?
Used to be when I first started, yes. And ironically, I think the first time we went down there as I was the head coach, they were celebrating their Hall of Fame people, and I'm in their Hall of Fame. So they, over the loudspeaker, they announced my name, and it surprised me. And I tipped my cap to them, and I said thank you, to them. But that's all quieted down now. It's another game. We're the visiting team. They come here, they're the visiting team, and we play. That history part of it is done.
What do you consider the most monumental moment of your career?
Getting this job. I had no head coaching experience. I came in with Coach Hill. I had been his assistant at 2 different high schools. He asked me if I was willing to come over to Montclair. I said yes, I would love to. We spent 7 years together from 76 to 83, and we were just getting ready to start the season. Camp was about a month away, and he took the baseball job at Rutgers. Who's the head coach? There isn't any. It was too late to put out an announcement of the opening. So Mr. Diagardi, the athletic director at the time, said, Coach Hill recommended you for the job to be the head coach. Are you interested? I said yes. I don't think I would have gotten the job if they had time to put that job and post it, because there would have been so many people trying for it. And I got lucky. The entire staff stayed. Everybody stayed. And we went 7-3. We went 7-3 that year. And that made me feel good that I could still keep everything in place. One of the things that I learned, that you don't have to turn everything upside down just because you become the head coach. If there are things in there that satisfy what you're trying to do, keep it. Tweak it a little bit, fix it a little bit, and go.
You've coached over 1,000 student athletes in your career here at Montclair State. Are there any that stand out in particular?
I've had many good players, and they've gone on to NFL careers, some longer than others. But I think the interaction when they come back and say, "Hey, coach, how are you?" And I might not have seen him for 10 years. You know, when he comes back and we hug and we talk about old times, and I ask him how he's doing. You know, well, I'm married, I got a family, you know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. That's the reward. To see them get out of here with their degree, find a job that suits that degree, and some of them don't even use the degree. They find a job with something else, but they're doing fine. And many times they say, it's what you taught us. It's how you taught us. That's the reward. It really is. And I hope someday my children, well, they're old enough now, but my grandchildren find somebody that they can relate to as a coach and have that same good feeling.
One of the most well-recognized Red Hawk alums is Sam Mills. And of course, you and the team over the past few years have adopted his mantra of keep pounding. So can you tell me what that mantra means to you and the guys?
Sam was looked at by NFL scouts, and they all said he was too small to be an NFL linebacker. And he signed a free agent contract with the Cleveland Browns, got cut. Signed a free agent contract, Toronto Argonauts, got cut. The third year, his agent called him and said, the USFL is starting a league. Do you want to try again? Sam said yes. He signed with the Philadelphia Stars, and in that first meeting, Jim Mora, who was the head coach at the time, said to the linebacker coach, evaluate your people. He said, well, I like this Mills kid. Coach Mora said, who's that? Didn't have an idea. He said, that's the young man from Montclair State. Where's Montclair State? He had no idea where Sam was from, or us. He said, Montclair State's in New Jersey. It's a Division III school. Coach Mora said, you mean to tell me you like that young man better than, and he rattled off 3 or 4 names who had already been in the NFL, who were trying to make it again. He said, Coach, I see him every day. He does everything better than everybody else. Okay, we'll keep him. Fast forward, he leads the team in tackles. He was the second year, he was the all-league linebacker, and in his third year, he was voted, he was the second defensive player of the year, not first, second. There's a guy that nobody wanted. There's a guy that said, hey, he can't play. Now he goes, the league folds, and Coach Mora gets the head job at the New Orleans Saints. His linebacker coach gets the job at the Chicago Bears. They're both on the phone. Sam, play with me. Sam, come with me. He goes to New Orleans. 6 years at New Orleans, 5 more years at Carolina Panthers, where they found out he had cancer. And 2 years later, after he retired, he passed away, I think at age 44. So everything that he did signifies keep pounding. Every time they said no, he said yes. I'll show you. Just give me the chance. And if you ever watch the Panthers on TV, do you see that big drum? Read what it says on it. Keep pounding. He started a cancer research foundation in South Carolina, and the Panthers decided to sell these wrist bracelets that say keep pounding on it. And they sell them at home games, and they donate the money to his cancer research fund. Well, when we heard that, we said, can we get involved? Now, we don't have 80,000 people that come here, okay? But we sell them, we send the money down to the research foundation, whatever we get. We take the gate money, we sell them at the gate, and we want to say to Sam and his family, we understand. You know, we know what keep pounding means. And that's what I try to tell these guys. Something bad happens, something that's not what we're looking for, we've got to keep pounding at it. And they've responded to it. Every team we've had has responded to it.
So this generation of players is definitely different than when you started, say more plugged in for a lack of a better word. Have you changed your coaching tactics at all to cater to this generation?
Well, I had to learn this generation. It is different in one respect. in one respect. What I want from them is to listen to what I ask them to do, but I also had to add why they have to do it. Years past, coaches would say to players, I want you to do this. End of story, done. Do it. Now, I think you have to explain to them the purpose of it. There's a reason why we do these things, reason why we ask you to do it this way. Because, and then you can fill in whatever it is. And I think they've responded to that. I don't think you can take today's kid and just demand. They need to hear why. And if they can understand, they'll do it. They'll do it.
So at the end of every season, you meet with each player individually to talk about their future. You want to go into why you do that and what that means to you and the players?
I want them to know how we have viewed their season. I want them to know where they can improve and get better. I want to know about their grades. I want to know, because I have a sheet with their grades, and I share that with them. I need them to know that we want them to be good students as well as good players, and make them understand that that's part of being a football player here. You're just not coming here to play. You got to go to school. You got to earn your degree. While you're doing that, you're playing football. And the two can coexist, but you have to work at them both. And sometimes we get young men who want to play football, but sometimes with school, they really don't want to put the effort and time into the school part of it. And when I ask them, how you doing in that English class? Oh, coach, I'm doing fine. Oh, really? Here's what your teacher just said. And they say, oh, well, never mind well. Now, I already know, but I'm asking you. I need you to do better in school. I need you to go to class every day. I need you to do your assignments and turn them in. It's just like football. If you miss football practice, how good can you be? You can't. You got to be here every day. This is not recreation. And that's another issue that I have, in that I'm a full-time coach. I get paid to coach. These guys want to play recreation football. You can't play here. This is not recreation football. It's serious stuff, not life and death, but it's serious in that if you want to participate, you got to be the very best you can be. And that's the key statement. I don't try to get everybody to be Sam Mills, because they can't. I want everybody to try to be the best that they can be, them be the best that they can be. And if they're willing to put the time and effort into that, I'll be happy with them. I'll be happy with them. So it's a full course.
So one of your more interesting players this year is Luke Excellent, and he's a great player on the field, and as we just saw, he brings a lot of energy whenever he's around you. So can you tell us more about him and what he brings to the team?
Luke and I have a special relationship. He came out of high school with only 2 years of experience. He didn't play his freshman or his sophomore year. And we watched him on tape, and we saw this 6'3", 225-pound body, but with a great deal of potential. And the 2 years that he played, he was getting better. He was also growing. As you can see, Luke's about 6'5" now, about 325. And he's really matured into a very fine football player. His skills have increased dramatically. For a big man, he runs well. He's increased his strength and power in terms of the weight room. He's got a good work ethic, and he's doing well in school. I mean, those are all the good things that you want from guys. And if they use him as a model, they're going to be okay.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Coach, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Red Hawk Spotlight. I'm Jack Bartek.